This is just a quick video to explain what my Moog Prodigy oscillator sample pack is. I've sampled each of the oscillators on their 3 wave shapes. So oscillator 1 on a sawtooth, a triangle and a pulse, and oscillator 2 on a sawtooth, a triangle and a square. And I've done it at each of the octave ranges. So effectively what I've done is I've extended the range of the keyboard by 2 octaves. So started off at 32, then moved up to 16, and then moved up to 8 on oscillator 1, and done the same on oscillator 2. Oscillator 2 is obviously an octave higher than oscillator 1. And that's given me all these original samples. You can see here I've sampled pulse, sawtooth, sawtooth 2, square, the triangle and triangle 2. I've got VCO 2 square there as well, which I think I messed up when I was doing one of them. And I've sampled them at every 3 semitones, that's 4 samples per octave, and I've sampled them all at 10 seconds so we don't get looping. I've not done every single key because the 10-second samples and they just get a bit too cumbersome perhaps. But I think that's a sort of decent compromise between length of sample and quality of tone. So you're only ever 1 semitone away from where you sampled. So sample on F, and then that covers E and F sharp, and you sample A flat, and that covers G to A. Got sawtooth. We see down there on that frequency analysis there, those nice sharp oscillators that we noticed were missing from the grandmother. And go a couple more octaves. And when you listen to the high things, you can really hear the movement in the actual oscillator. And when sampling them, I was thinking, are they too wobbly? But they're not bad. Pretty good, actually. And sample them all up 1/0 in 44 kilohertz 16-bit. So that covers 1 sample. And I've saved all 6 oscillators as sound font projects. And sound fonts, I think, are importable by most software samplers, so you shouldn't have too much difficulty. I've imported them into Logic. If we go up here on Logic, you put them in the right folder. I've put some notes in there, but it depends what your DAW is. And you can see they pop up as sound fonts. You load them and then you save them. And you've got to click it on Logic for some reason. You've got to click it twice. Once for it to create the EXS file, but it doesn't load. Then you come back in there and you do it again and it loads it. But you can see, once it's in there, obviously you can start playing around with the filters and stuff. Put it on a 24 dB fat. Drive. But yeah, I've done this for all the wave shapes, really for myself. But if you have got Logic, well, you're in luck. But then once you've got one, once you've created one file, you can start playing around with them and making up your own sounds. Even go into a Prodigy-based pad. That's 3 oscillators. And just to show you how easy it is to do that sort of stuff, if we go to this one, that's the square base. Let's put the square on top of the sawtooth. So in the sawtooth, we'll come in, go to the mapping, we'll add a group, find the wall with the square on it, and let's just copy that across. You can see there I've pulled the base down all the way to C, but Control copy or Command copy, come into here, Command V, and there they are. So this is now sawtooth and the square. And here there's 2 oscillators there now. Turn one of them off. Bring the other one in. So we can go into each of these groups and then detune the groups, which is what I've done with, where is it? Sawtooth detuned. If we come into that sampler project, we can see oscillator 2 detuned by 0.2. Just be aware that this one here, this is zone 11 on the oscillator 2 sawtooth, is out by a semitone. So you have to go in. If you find that, just go in and change it. But come down there, you can select them all, and then we can detune them, which is what gives us our fifths and our fourths. But then you can start playing around with the filters and do like a... Doesn't sound exactly the same. I've not tuned it up as well as possibly I could, but the decay on the Logic sampler has got a different curve to the Prodigy. As you'd expect, it's not going to be identical, so you can't get things spot on, but it does give you a flavour and a bit of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's £3, I think, from my StarskyCar.com website, or it's free to patrons. So have fun with it. Enjoy.